Okay, so let's get started with this week's topic test. Um, Hopefully I'm not blocking the view too much. So question one starts with a little graph and does this. Oh, it has a vertical asymptote and it seems to be approaching this way and it just keeps going that way. We know it's going to be a log graph. What we do notice is that a typical log graph usually has a vertical asymptote in the middle, but there is a shift by 2 units to the left. That means it's got to be either this guy or this guy, so not A or D. And then what do we notice? This is just a normal direction, right? If there was a negative, it should have been flipped like this. So now I know it's just, I don't have to do any more maths, it's just B. There is obviously further maths that we might have to do if you want to be really specific with what the graph is. But because all of the options really just eliminate when we do deal with these questions, it's all good. Now, this is a bit of a tricky one. What we do know is that whatever's inside of the surd has to be positive or equal to 0. Because why? In a surd, we can't have a square root of negative number. So whatever's in there, whatever this thing is, it has to be greater or equal to 0. Wait a minute, what do we notice? This is just a parabola with x-intercepts 1 and 2, and we sketch it, and we want this to be greater than 0, right? So that means all I need to do is just look for the parts in region where this is true, which is the left side of the 1 and then the right side of 2. Boom. Option C. Now, the graph below shows the original function, this guy, and it transforms into this guy. Okay. Now, what we do notice is, sorry, is that this guy went from here, and then now it's on the right side. But there is no translation. It didn't shift this way. It has to have been reflected that way then. So now I know it has to be ones with the negative on the input because it was a horizontal reflection. It wasn't a horizontal shift. So there has to be a negative in the x. And now what do we also notice? It was pointing upwards, but now it's pointing downwards. That means it's also a vertical reflection. So now we say it has to be option A. Okay. Question four. Consider the graphs this and this. F of x is the absolute value one, and g of x is what the square root graph must be. They're looking for the values of x where f of x is greater than g of x. That means we're looking for the values when this is above the square root graph. Now, a lot of the students do make mistakes here. They say, oh, it's got to be right over here then. It's got to be greater. But fun fact, if the function doesn't exist beyond a certain point, nothing can be greater than this because it just doesn't exist to be compared with in the first place. So it actually has to stop at -2. So -2 to -1, and then anything greater than 2. So it's option D. Not these, not this, not this. Okay? This is a similar concept. I have square root of 1 minus x squared. Wait a minute. If you guys do remember this shape, this is just a semicircle with radius 1 to 1, -1. So the domain of the function is just -1 to 1. All is fine. Now, if you guys remember, sorry, I don't know what's with my voice nowadays. Y equals to A cos bx plus c. The mean value just means center of motion. That means it's the average that everything goes around. So, dude, and then the curve goes around it like this, always. And now the amplitude is 3. So I can clearly tell it's not this guy or this guy. It has to be either this guy or this guy because it's, well, amplitude is 3 and mean value is 5, -5, sorry. And then now what do we need to do? Finding the period is 2 pi divided by b, always, whatever's multiplying x, which in this case is 2 pi over 2, which is pi. So it's got to be, boom, boom, option D. Okay? This is a fun question. Mr. Rodriguez, shout out to him. He gave me this question. It was a very interesting one. Consider an odd function f of x with f2 is 10, f4 is 8. The function is dilated horizontally by a factor of 3. If it says horizontally by a factor of 3, it just means it got 3 times as wide. What does that mean? All of my x values just tripled. This means now it would be x6 equals to 10 and f12 equals to 8. Now they're asking me which of the following coordinates must exist for this transform function. I think I missed the key information here. It's an odd function, right? What does that mean? If it's an odd function, if I were to put f of -6, what would happen to my y value, which is 10? It would turn into -10. Oh, yes, that's exactly it. Now, these two options were trick because they wanted you to think horizontally by a factor of 3 just means it squeezes by a factor of 3 because x is squeezed instead of expand like the y's do. So that was the trick question. And then this guy is if you didn't recognize it's an odd function, it should be -10. So one of the ways that you could think about this might be it used to be like this and like this, and now it is over here and over here. And now they're asking me this value given this value. So now all you need to do is just flip the y value to be negative. Yeah? All right, consider the function, that guy, sketch the graph of y equals to f of x, showing the vertex and any intercepts. Now, vertex only starts with axis of symmetry. Axis of symmetry is x equals to -b over 2a. That means x equals to 7 over 4. It's an ugly number. How unfortunate. Okay. And then at this point, I'm just going to write, you know what? I don't know if I can vectorize this at all. I can. 2x squared minus 6x minus x plus 3, which means 2x minus 1, and then x minus 3. And those are my two answers. So what does that mean? It is at 3, half, and then the vertex is at 7 on 4. Now here's a problem. Where is my vertex actually? Whereabouts high is it? So I need to sub y equals 2 times 7 on 4 squared minus 7, 7 on 4 plus 3, which I'm really slow. Oh my God. What am I doing? So it's somewhere around here, and then you just draw the graph. Are we happy with this graph? No, you shouldn't be, because I didn't draw my y-intercept. Y-intercept should be 3. And all is well. Hence or otherwise, solve f of x is less than 0. I want my function to be less than 0. It means it is below the x-axis. So you get x is between, actually, you know what? 1 to 2 and 3. Are we happy with this answer, guys? Wrong. It should actually not be including because we want it to be strictly less than 0, so you don't do the or equal to. Okay, I made a mistake at first, but then I thought, might as well. All right, let's have a look at this. The question says f of x is some stupid quadratic and g of x is some stupid linear. And find the values of a, b, and c, given that g of f of x is all this. Oh, I just burped. That was too much information. Sorry. Now I have g of f of x means g of ax squared plus bx plus 2. And this means I have c of ax squared plus bx plus 2 minus 4. Okay, Now I have acx squared plus bcx plus 2c minus 4. At this point, this should equal to 12x squared minus 15x minus 10. We collect the corresponding terms. Now, we can assume these what should we call it, coefficients are equal because the no other values of variable would make it work. So that means I can just write the simultaneous equations. AC equals to 12, BC equals to negative 15, and 2C minus 4 equals to negative 10. Oh, 2C equals to negative 6, C equals to negative 3. This means A equals to 12 over negative 3, which is negative 4, and B equals to 5. Okay, all should be well. The graph below of f of x equals to 2 to the x minus 1 is drawn below, and the new function g of x is found by taking the graph of y equals to negative 2, f of x, and translating it up by 5 units. Sketch the graph of this. Okay, now what does it say? We are going to do the y equals to negative 2 f of x. What the hell? Why is it orange? F of x, and then now I'm going to translate it up 5. So I just imagine this first, right? Ideally, they would have given you the same thing to draw. I'm going to do this vertical dilation first. I have negative 2. This means first thing first, it flips, and then it gets twice as wide. So my horizontal asymptote, which used to be at y equals negative 1, is now at positive 1, and then it becomes double. And then now it's like something like that. Something like this. Yeah, it doesn't have to be beautifully to scale. Now, and then I raise it by 5. So, what the hell? They didn't give us enough space, but yeah, well, because they didn't ask us to sketch on the same thing, right? And then from here, I raise it by 5. So now, what does my horizontal asymptote become? It becomes, instead of 2, it becomes 7. And the y-intercept used to be 0, and now it's at 5. And you draw it like this. Now, typically you would be like, oh my God, how do I draw the x-intercept? But the question only asks you to sketch the y-intercept and the asymptote. All is well. I already did this in class. I'm not going to explain it anymore. I'm not bothered. Solve the equation x squared minus 6 equals to x. That means x squared minus x minus 6 equals to 0, x minus 3, x plus 2 equals to 0, x equals to 3, and negative 2. Now, in the space below, sketch the graph of x squared minus 6, and then y equals to x. I saw some of you guys make this mistake. The question told you to sketch this, solve for this equation, and then you found this intercepts, right? But then many of you then proceeded to draw this as the x-intercepts of this parabola. What a silly mistake. What a silly mistake. If you have y equals to x squared minus 6, you say, you know what? The x-intercept would be x squared equals to 6, x equals to plus minus root 6, which is not nice numbers. So you just write that in. Root 6. I'm really tired, guys. I'm sorry. My writing's worse than usual. Negative 6. And it is at negative 6. So you just do something like this. I know it's clearly not on the thing, but I have the power of technology. How good. All right. Now, and then I have y equals to x. Something like that. And now, what do I notice? The question also says points of intersection. Ooh, that means I need to put in x equals to 3 and negative 2, just like I had here. Are we happy with this answer? Is this perfect? Well, you're wrong. It says coordinates. If any of you did say no, that is not correct, then you're right. And I just want to say a few things. Now, all we need to say is when x equals to, let's say, 3, then y would just be 3 because, well, it intersects with y equals to x. So we just sub it in there. And then when x equals to -2, y equals to -2. So those are the coordinates, -2, -2, 3, 3. Find the values of x for which x squared minus 6 is greater than x. When is the parabola above the linear? On the right side of this and then on the left side of this. So when x is less than -2, when x is greater than 3. Interval notation, whatever you like. Who cares? All right, the function f of x equals to absolute value of x is transformed, and the equation of the new function is of the form all that. Oh. I don't know if you guys noticed, but whenever I do these solutions for the topic test, it's also pretty much the first time that I see them too. I don't actually do them until I give it to you. So I should have really. Anyhow, the graph of the new function is shown below. What are the values of k, b, and c? Well. Just going to copy down the equation first. K, I already forgot. F, x plus b plus c. Now, what we do notice is that this elevation is how much the vertically translate up is. And then now it's also moved right by 3 units, which is, this has to be plus 3. And then now, what I do notice after that is that it goes downwards. So that means it must be a negative power. Hey, what do we also know? The gradient is only 1. So that means k equals -1, b equals to +3, c equals to 2. Why did I give you guys so much space? Could have put in another question in this space. All right, sketch y equals to 3 cos x minus 2 and y equals to x minus 4. Oh my God, this is such an annoying question. And also, they said 0 to 2 pi, but what did they give us all this? Stupid question. Anyhow, notice it's -2, so we start from -2. Hey, what do we notice though? It's at -2, but the amplitude is 3. That means from -2, how high can I go up? It could go up to 1 because it goes up 3 and it goes down 3. So that means I start from 1 and it goes down to -3. That was kind of bad. But anyhow, and I have x over 4 minus 1, which is something like this. We really don't care. It's going to look something like that. Does it have to be to scale? Not really. How many solutions are there to the equation this equals that? There's only one, right? Clearly. So we just boom, boom, boom. Oh, now, one thing that I misread is that the question is that x is between 0 to 2 pi. I actually didn't have to sketch the left bit. Silly Billy. And then we go on. As a matter of fact, this arrow is wrong too. Silly Billy. And I just move on. Life is good. Okay. Now, given the sketch of the function y equals to f of x, sketch the graph of y equals to 3f. So first thing first, there's an x plus 3. That means everything moves 3 to the left. So now I'm just going to do a little draft because I'm not going to mess it up first. It's at -3, -1. And this guy is at what, -6, 3. -5, 1. -1, 1. 0, 3. Okay, all my x coordinates just moved. It's going to look something like this. Okay, now everything is multiplied by 3, but what? X or y? My y is multiplied by 3. That means everything just looks that much more dramatic. So now it becomes my y-intercept, which was at 0, 3, becomes 0, 9, and negative 1 or negative 1, 1 turns into negative 1, 3. This guy, negative 3, negative 1 turns into negative 3, negative 3. And then, yep, negative 5, 3. And then, yeah. I don't know if you guys can hear people laughing, but there's having fun out there while I'm recording stupid videos. Something like that. So in a way, it looks thinner, but in reality, it's just that the Y values just get much more stretched out, that it looks relatively thinner. It doesn't actually, but you need to remember everything just gets wider vertically. That's what's really happening. Okay, now a sketch of y equals to x cubed minus 6x squared plus 9x minus 4 is shown on the right. What is the solution of this inequality? What's this inequality? Well, so many of you weren't able to connect the dots here from what I saw. It's like, well, so what is this? What's the point? But what I do notice is that they look similar in terms of numbers. Hey, what do you notice? 6x squared is negative here, plus 4 is negative here. Wait a minute. If I were to move this 6x squared onto the left side, and then just keep the other guys here, and then my and the 4 as well, and then keep the inequality. Wait a minute, what are they asking me to do? They're asking me to do this is greater than 0. They're asking me for the values of x where this function is greater than 0. When is that? That's when x is greater than 4. That's not bad. The equation of the graph sketched above could be, well, I kind of went through this in class too, but this isn't as annoying as that stupid graph value, so I'll just do it. It repeats itself every pi. Period is pi. But what do we also know? It's 2 pi over b. This means b equals to 2. You actually, like at this point, you kind of need to be able to just do this straight away. C is just 1. Amplitude is 1. So what do you know? Y equals 2, amplitude 1, sine 2x, because 2 is what, b is what multiplies x, plus 1. All good? Now, this is actually a very fun question. I love these questions. I love. What we always know is that the center of motion, in which case this is B, is always the average of minimum and maximum. What does that mean? 35,000 plus 5,000 over 2, which is 20,000 from my memory, if I can do addition and division as well as I used to. So that's 20,000. Now, what's amplitude? Amplitude is max minus b. Whatever the difference from the maximum or minimum to the center of motion is, which is just 15,000 in this case. How good? Anyhow, what? Oh, I remember. Okay, the later questions were like for later year 12 calculus stuff, so that wasn't relevant for you. All right, if the log xy equals to 2 log xa plus log all that, bunch of words, but they're all of the same base. That means I can combine like terms. Why are they having so much fun without me? Plus log x b over a minus log xb. So that means log x a squared. They're having too much fun. They're making me do questions wrong. Times b over a, now divided by b. Because addition of the same bases mean times, and then minus of the same bases mean divide. This is the same as log x of a, b over b, which is a. We just simplify, cancel, 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 because they're dividing, and that. But what do we know? This is supposed to equal to log x of y. That's what we're given. So a is just y. Y is A. Why? Anyhow, the graph of the function a ln plus b ln x plus b is shown below. What are the values of a and b? Well, what do we know? First thing first, you are given a coordinate here. That means x equals to e squared and y equals to 0. So I'm just going to sub that in and see where it goes, okay? 0 equals to a ln. Okay, shut up, Siri. Did I call Siri? Ln e squared plus b. If you guys remember, a ln e squared is the same as 2, because ln e is 1, squared just comes outside. This means b equals to negative 2a. At this point, you might think to yourself, now what? But there's only one option where this relationship exists. Because if you have a is 1 and times by negative 2 it, that's not e squared. None of these work, except this guy. That's how you do it. You just look at it and be able to tell. I can't remember where I got this from, some selective school, I think. Should be fine. Differentiate with respect to x. Move uv with the bunny ears. You bash me, I bash you, whatever you prefer. That's fine. Do it right. That's all I care about. F dash of x equals to 3 times e to the 2x. Now plus 3x times. I just turned off my iPad. 2e to the x. So now this turns into 3e to the 2x plus 6x e to the x. You can choose to factorize, whoops, 2x, my bad. You can choose to factorize it if you wish. That's up to you. Now, solve that using the substitution 2 to the x. Well, if you remember, 4 to the x equals to 2 squared to the x, which is just 2 to the 2x, which is also the same as 2 to the x squared. They all just work like that because it's just a multiplication of the powers. So now I have u squared plus u squared plus u equals to 1. 2u squared plus u minus 1 equals to 0. Do I know how to factorize this? I don't like factorizing. And there we go, there's our answer. Now I have u equals to half and u equals to negative 1. Are we happy with this answer? No, you're wrong. Because that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for x, and u is just 2 to the x. So you get 2 to the x equals to half, which just means x equals to negative 1. You can just log it, BAP it, use your calc, or you can just use your common sense. Notice it's a reciprocal. And then you can say 2 to the x equals to negative 1. 2 to the x is negative 1. How does that work? It doesn't. No solution. So there's only one solution here. We're done. We move on. Okay. Oh my God, why did I choose to give you this? So much work on my Friday, period 5. The revenue at a parallel cafe can be modeled by this. And then, yeah, number of days after midnight. Yeah, well, yeah. And then this is the cost. Ooh, revenue and cost. Find to the nearest cent the revenue of the cafe after 1 day on January 1. T is the number of days. That means T equals to 1. So now all I need to do is R of 1 and just substitute into it. 73 cos 0.0175 times 1 is just that, 0.14 plus 2040, which is you guys can skip like 10 seconds. This is going to take a while. 2,112.99. Why is a number like this? 2,112.99. 2,113. Yeah. Now, show that the profits of the cafe can be modeled by the function this. What does that mean? All I need to do is just realize profit equals to revenue minus cost, and then do that. You should be able to just minus those two. Like it's literally just this minus this, and then this minus that, because they have the same input. We don't have to worry about it. What is the maximum profit the cafe can make? Oh my God, this looks so hard. This is so complicated. Wait a minute, this is a trig graph. What we do know is that this is the center of motion. And the amplitude will help us go that much higher or that much lower. So all we need to do is remember maximum is center of motion plus amplitude, always. That's all, that's what it is always. Amplitude. 1190 plus 39, which is really trash. Anyhow, yeah, whatever that is, I can't do that in my head anymore. Find how many days will elapse before the cafe makes the maximum profit. Now, that's a cool one. What do we notice? The question is saying how many days will it take for it to reach maximum? It's a cos graph. It starts at max and then goes down and then goes back up. Well, at least it's a positive cos graph, so we know it's going to do that. When does it reach its maximum again? After one full period. All we need to do is find the period, and then that's when we have the answer. 2 pi divided by... Oh my God, who would do this? 359 days. 359 days. Something like that. Something like that. All is well. I think surely that's the last question. Yes. I didn't give any more than that. How good. Oh my, that took me a bit of time. All is well. Study hard. Have fun. Oh no. Right.